Hello, my name is Mariam Ajeloba and this is my oral requirement for my Drama 15 class. So I chose the play called The Colored Museum, which is actually one of the plays that were assigned in class. The Colored Museum is a play that was written during the 1980s by the author George C. Wolfe. And from the play, he's examining the challenges that African Americans faced over such a long period of time, from slavery all the way to racism. And the play is divided into 11 exhibits or scenes, and they all have a different story to themselves. But first, it will actually be hard for me to focus on one or two characters of the play because the scenes are so short. So I'll be focusing more on three scenes, which are with each of its own characters into it. And those three scenes are Get on Board, Cooking with Aunt Ethel, and The Hairpiece. And the reason for the play to become such an impact to the audience or the readers is because of the sense of humor that the author George C. Wolfe used throughout each scene, which seems to replace the anger that the audience could have felt if they were reading a regular story that contains the slavery subject into it. And also, this sense of humor seems to facilitate for the audience to have a better understanding of what is occurring in the message that is being conveyed. But most importantly, it is demonstrating what it meant to be an African American during slavery. So first, I'll be starting with the first scene, which in my opinion is actually the perfect way to in opening this play, and it is the first exhibit of this play. The character is Miss Pat, and Miss Pat is described as a very spirited flight attendant of a celebrity slave ship who is trying to prepare her passenger for the journey they're about to start. So in order to prepare them, she gives them instructions on each regulations of the ship. For instance, how to fasten their shackles, or advising them not to refrain from call and response singing, which could lead to rebellion. This scene has actually been both praised and disliked, but mostly disliked because it is criticized of degrading the struggles that came with slavery, and for the audience it just felt too horrible for it to be humorous or funny. But personally, I will not actually completely praise the scene, but I like the sense of humor that is used because it seems to take off the burden of the pain that has been carried from over so many years, and it just seemed the humor helps also for the readers to read it and not have a heavy heart as well. So the second scene that I'll be talking about is Cooking with Aunt Ethel, which is the second exhibit of this play. So while the first described scene seems to mock slavery with satirical names such as celebrity slave ship, the scene is a cooking show that is hosted by Aunt Ethel, in which she sings the recipe on how to, excuse my language, bake yourself a batch of the N-word. The exhibit opens up with Aunt Ethel, who is described as a down-home black woman that is wearing a bandana on the head. And when she makes an entrance, she goes to stand in front of a big black pot in order to start off on her cuisine. The ingredients used in the song portrays the African American culture based on the pain of slavery, such as females being conscious of their hair structures, or the attitude African American have, such as rage, heap of survival, humility, humor, madness, salty language, and the blues. But in all, the exhibit represents the conflict African American faced in trying to find their real identity that has been lost from being oppressed for all those years. Finally, the final scene that I'll be describing is a very famous scene, and it is called the hairpiece. It is the sixth exhibit of this play, and there are three characters to these scenes, which are two wigs and a bald-headed woman. So the hairpiece is a very hilarious dialogue that's happening between the bald-headed woman and her two talking wig mannequin, whom each have like an extreme attitude, and the two wigs argue about the situation of their owner, the balded woman. So they argue about whom the woman is going to wear when she goes to break up with her boyfriend, because each wig believe that when they're worn, you give the woman enough confidence to go and achieve the goal that, or the objective that she's going for. Also, the humor that is used in this scene actually does not mask the reality of the importance of hair to African American women, but the highlight of the scene is the role that hair plays in the female African American community. In conclusion, the Colored Museum holds the saddening truth of the struggles that African American had to go through during the period of slavery and racism, but with the humor that the author used, in some ways, I believe the objective was to help appease the pain of this unavoidable topic of slavery that has been a burden, such a heavy burden that has been carried over so many years. Thank you.